Hi everybody, welcome to Paul Programs, your spot for learning more about game design and game mechanics. Today, we're going to talk about some of my favorite assets on the Unity Assets Store by Unity for the best price of all, free. Okay, if you're interested in learning more about game design, game mechanics, how they work, let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video and want to see more like them, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the ding dong bell, also down there. And let's get this show started. You may be wondering, why should I use assets? Why don't I just make it myself? Well, part of that is time. Do you have the time to make it all? Also, what are you doing? But before we get into that, what are assets? In Unity terms, basically, they're resources you can use to help streamline some of your game creation. It's like the idea of getting stock images and things like that if you want to use for making videos and other things like that. Assets basically work the same way, and there's different assets for all different things: music, models, UI, some even functionality for gameplay. So when you need to make something, or you know you need something for your game but you don't know quite how to make it or have the time to, the asset stores for both Unity and Unreal are usually your best places to go for those respective engines. But with that, let's talk more about why. Why assets, why use them, and some of the potential questions that come with it. So assets, as mentioned before, they're a great way to get resources into your games kind of quick. Streamline a lot of that process so you don't have to worry about spending the time learning new tools that you may not even know if you need 3D models because you're a coder. Or you want to make your UI look good, but you don't want to spend that much time in Photoshop making all the different elements you need for good looking UI. Then you may go to the assets store and find what you need. But people worry that when you use assets, your game's going to look very cookie cutter. Can you even use them for a commercial game? And for the commercial part, it depends on the asset. And usually the assets will list on their descriptions and in their terms what you need to actually use it. Some sell one license for your entire company. Some is per user of your app of Unity, basically, at your company. But most assets usually are available for commercial use, and again, if they're not, they'll let you know in their terms and in the description for the asset. But with that said, that covers the commercial side of it. But what are some concerns that people may have? And I think the biggest one I've seen has been people's concern that, oh, your games are going to look cookie cutter, or is your game going to actually look good because you used a bunch of them? There's also the fear that someone's just going to buy a bunch of assets, throw it together, and sell it as a game and call it from there. And there are actually a lot of games that make use of different assets because they may not have the teams to basically make what they need. In those cases, they get assets to streamline some of that development. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's about intention. It's how do you want to use your assets that you're getting. And that's the most important part. It's knowing how you want to use it and using it and making it work within your specific game. You don't want to just get assets just to bundle them together and make a game which looks like what an asset game. You want to make whatever you get work for your game. Sometimes that means even making minor tweaks, changing some colors on textures, maybe putting it in a way so it's not really in the foreground, it's more of a background feature that isn't as noticed. And many of us who have used assets for a long time will be able to pick out certain assets no matter what you use, but that shouldn't matter. It's about improving the quality of your game, making your game look good, and adding to the design. So with that, we've covered a little bit about why use assets, some of the pitfalls and things people concerned about, and how it can benefit you. Let's actually take a look at some of my favorite assets on the asset store now. As mentioned before, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some assets directly from Unity themselves. And with that, we're going to jump right in and go into Newbie and Friends. Now, this one's actually pretty good if you're looking for assets related to models, characters, maybe even background characters and things like that you may want to put in your game. And the nice part is it provides you with the models, the animations, textures that go with these. That means you can actually take these textures into something like Photoshop and edit them up so that like the two people you have like right on this left side here, you can edit them to look different, have different hairstyles, colors, basically skin pigmentations, things like that, which would give them a variation in case you want to use them as something that's like more of a support feature in your game. Next, we're going to look at some standard assets that Unity provides. And these are quite a few different things. If we actually go through each of the images, they provide you with some basic models that you can use for your games. Especially if you want to do something that is more vehicle based, there's some really cool things in here that you can make use of. And incorporating into your game is simple enough. And again, with this, you have the ability to customize textures, which then give whatever you're using a nice custom look. So right now you can see in a lot of these images, they show with more of a gray style. So it gives you that ability to make something unique specifically for your game, even if the model itself may be provided by Unity. Next on deck is the particle effects. And with these, they provide you different effects that you can incorporate into your game for showing off like flames, explosions. Maybe you have blood splatter you want to do a specific way in your game. It basically allows you to have different particles that you can incorporate to your game to give different visual feels, styles, things that you may not be interested in kind of trying to build out yourself on your own. Or you may have a specific thing you're looking for, like here we have an explosion that leads to smoke. That may be something that using a pack like this would help you do quickly, and it's not something that you have to worry about being like a standardized asset depending on how you use it, because you're looking at these assets at the end of the day to incorporate them into your game to work the way you want them to. The last kit to look at is the environment pack that Unity provides. And this is nice because it provides you with different elements that you can use in terms of building out your different environments for your game. They have alien-like trees, plants, standardized rock structures. It provides you with enough assets that you can lay out and incorporate in a different way to make your game look and feel the way you want it to. Are they platforms? Are you creating floating platforms? How are you bringing the life and vegetation to basically give that realistic or thriving feel in your game so it doesn't feel as barren? Or you use cardboard trees, as people like to complain about. So with that, this is the last pack I wanted to talk about, but these are great for getting started and provide you some assets that you can use inside of your game on top of what else you're actually building for it. Okay, so hopefully those Unity assets could prove useful for something you're working on, or if you're even making just a simple game jam game. The asset store is your go-to place to help you get something done quickly or get the stuff you need to make something quickly. Now, let's talk about how we could actually take these and design a game. And in this case, say we want to make a simple fantasy game where we have our knights, which we can use that people and friends pack that we were looking at. And we want to save a princess. Just a simple, like maybe role-playing game where that's the gist of it. You can use something like that combined with some of the other assets we picked up, like the particle kit for representing different magical effects that you want in your game. And then, I mean, we have that game kit, which has a different environment, so you can set up a level or two, or even a sprawling open world if you want to, combining each of these different things. But this is just a way of sort of thinking how we can look at assets and say, hey, this may have some of the stuff I need for something I want to make. And then you can go on and make your own UIs if you want that are more fantasy themed on your own. Or if you have a battle system that you want to do because you're doing a turn-based game, then you can build out that. But this could be some of what you use to get started. You can even then go into like the materials, change them up if you want to give them just a little bit of differentiation or something like that. Um, Maybe even build out a shader of your own just to make the lighting look different, give it like a different style than what's already on there, make the material stand out differently. I mean, this is just some ways you can think about how assets can be incorporated into a game design. And that's really more of the thought school when thinking about assets for design. It's how does it add more to my base idea? And in this case, if we want to start with a JRPG, you may look for some assets to kind of get you started. Even the models, which you may decide to change out later on because you finally get around to making and working on your own specific models that you want for your game, so your characters aren't just like generic knight A or B, but you may need some NPCs, so those models could still be used there. And again, ideas. That's all the thing is. It's about ideas and how assets add to it. You want to always look at things that are going to add more value and more quality to your game, but you don't want to make your game just based on something quick that you just kind of throw together, because it shows. The more effort and work you put into it, it'll show. Now that we've taken a look at some of the different assets you can pull into your games, I want to talk about how you can actually pull your assets into your Unity project. And to get started first, we would basically choose an asset that we like on the Unity Assets Store, purchase it, or add it to your assets. From there, you're going to want to actually open Unity and create a Unity project. Inside Unity itself, you're going to want to go all the way up to the top bar where it says Window, and then click Package Manager. This will then open the Package Manager. If it's not already in this area called My Assets, you could click right here on the top left area of the window and then select My Assets. From there, it'll show all your different assets that you have available from the Unity Assets Store. If you're looking for a specific one, like before when we showed Newbie and Friends, then you can type in the search bar what you're looking for and it'll show up. From there, you're going to want to download or re-download depending. And after you do that, you would click on Import. What Import's going to do is it's going to prepare the package so this way you can actually pull it into your project. And this usually takes a few moments, but once it's done and ready, you'll get a screen and a window that looks like this. And this lets you see all the different assets that are within this package. From here, you can choose to put everything you want or just certain things. And then you would hit Import. And what that does is it pulls it into your assets for your project. And you'll find the folder, probably Newbie and Friends for this one. Or as you see one I have here, Modern UI Pack. That will then be pulled right into the assets folder. And you can access all the different things that are in here. That's just a quick look at how you can pull assets into your own game and make use of them for anything you're working on. So with that, hopefully you were able to learn more about the Unity Assets Store, and you'll check out some of the other free stuff or paid stuff to support the developers out there making this stuff and use it for your own games. Some other recommendations I can make is like some of the polygon characters and things like that. There's some great modern UI kits if you're looking for that, or maybe something themed that matches your game. That covers basically Unity assets for now, and I will catch you all next time.